Welcome to OOD Works, the podcast, a show about unique individuals and the services provided by Opportunities for Ohioans with Disabilities, the state agency that helps individuals with disabilities find a job and be more independent. Here's your host, Kim Jump.
Opportunities for Ohioans with Disabilities, Division of Disability Determination, in agreement with the Social Security Administration, determines medical eligibility for Ohioans who apply for Social Security disability benefits. The Division of Disability Determination is federally regulated and receives 100% of its funding from the Social Security Administration. And under SSA, disability is based on an individual's inability to work. OOD offers vocational rehabilitation services for those who have a disability and want to work. For those who cannot work, disability benefits are a possibility. In this episode of OOD Works podcast, I am joined by staff with the Social Security Administration to learn about 2022 updates related to disability benefits. I'm joined by Brandon Smith, Public Affairs Specialist with SSA based out of Cleveland, and Robert Fenn, Public Affairs Specialist with the Social Security Administration. So it's great to have you back on the show, Brandon and Robert. Before we get started, I do want to encourage listeners to go back, listen to episode 27 if you haven't already, because you were guests then, and talked all things Social Security disability benefits, one of our very popular episodes, a helpful starting place for any listeners that aren't as familiar with Social Security disability benefits. But today's discussion is really all about the updates and changes this year to Social Security disability benefits. So why don't we get into it? So thanks so much for being here. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I heard there was a cost of living adjustment, COLA. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. This is Brandon. I'll jump into it. Yes, for 2022, there is or was a cost of living adjustment or COLA of 5% for people receiving benefits. That's across the board, both people that are receiving Social Security benefits and supplemental security income. People that are on supplemental security income or SSI should have seen that increase in the check that they received on December 30th. People that are receiving Social Security benefits, be it disability or even retirement, spousal, survivor, that increase would have been paid in the check they got in January, that either January 3rd or the second, third, or fourth Wednesday of the month, depending on when they normally get their payment checks.
Okay, great. Got it. Brandon, can you explain credit of coverage and what has changed with that?
Yeah, sure. So to be eligible for Social Security benefits, be it Social Security disability or Social Security retirement, a person needs to work and pay into Social Security in order to earn what's called credits of coverage. Now, the amount of a credit of coverage has changed from 2021 to 2022. It was $1,470 in 2021. Now in 2022, that amount is $1,510. A person can earn up to 4 credits per year. So this year, using my fingers and toes for the calculation, that'd be about $6,040 that would need to be earned in 2022 for 4 credits of coverage.
Okay, got it. And let's talk taxes for a second. What about the maximum taxable amount?
Yeah, now we're getting into the kind of money that my counterpart and buddy Rob Fenn has is in his couch cushions, but there's a maximum taxable amount. I'm gonna pay for that later on. There's a maximum taxable amount that people pay into Social Security. There's a 7.65% combined rate for Social Security Medicare. 6.2% usually goes towards Social Security up to the maximum taxable amount, and then there's the 1.45 Medicare tax. So that 6.2% Social Security tax is applied to a certain amount of money. The maximum amount last year, because I want to give that sort of comparison, in 2021, it was $100,042,800. So $142,800 last year. It's a bump up to $147,000 this year in 2022. So if a person says makes 150,000, which is really, great money, someone else maybe makes $600,000, they're both paying into Social Security the same amount this year, that $147,000.
Robert, how about for individuals in employment and collecting Social Security benefits? Are there changes to benefits based on how much you earn?
Yes. That COLA, which Brandon mentioned, that 5.9%, not only affects the cash payment which an individual Social Security beneficiary receives, but also affects what we call the annual earnings test or monthly test for an individual who's receiving Social Security retirement benefits. And so this year, again, after that 5.9%, it changes the monthly amount and the yearly amount for the annual earnings test. For example, last year in 2021, if an individual was underneath his or her full retirement age, they were able to make $18,960 gross, okay, before it affected any of the Social Security payments. In 2022, that new amount is $19,560, $19,560 if, again, that person's underneath their full retirement age. If the individual was turning their full retirement age the same year, reaching that full retirement age, last year they were able to make $50,000. 2022, that dollar amount is $51,960. Now, I like to make sure I pause a little bit, because normally what people do is they grab those numbers, 19,560, 51,960, and they think that means this is all I can make. That's not technically accurate, because an individual could make over that. If they decide to make more than that, then there's a calculation we use to figure out how many checks throughout the month or throughout the year we continue to send to them. Okay. Once a person is over his or her full retirement age, no limit. So those numbers again, and the way that the common phrase is, can I work and still get a Social Security check? Well, the answer is yes. But we're going to determine, after receive your wages, which is an estimate that you give to us, that's going to allow us to determine how many checks, again, we can send to you throughout the year. $19,560 or $51,960 if you are turning your full retirement age that year, this year in 2022.
Thanks for breaking that down. After a person becomes eligible for Social Security disability benefits, the person may attempt to, go back to work, to return. And I know there's what's called a trial work period. So what is important to know about that?
Kim, you threw that softball up so nice. I so appreciate that, because many times people will mix the two together, meaning I'm receiving Social Security retirement benefits. I heard those numbers, the 19 and the 51,000. I heard those numbers, and they think that is the same standards that we're looking at for Social Security disability, and that's not the case. In the case of a Social Security disability beneficiary, that individual has what we call a trial work month dollar amount. So let me explain that. Okay. And the procedure is someone decides to go back into the workforce. We call these work incentives. And one of the work incentives is that the individual could decide to go back into the workforce. They contact Social Security. We give them a receipt. We can give them a receipt showing that they have decided to go back into the workforce. And what we do is we take account of their actual monthly dollar amounts in which they make. So, for example, last year, if someone were to work and had earnings $940 gross or less, individuals underneath their trial work month, and it would not count against the 9 allowable months that they're allowed to make any earnings. So let's make it real simple. This is January. If an individual made more than in 2022, that dollar amount is $970. So if that person made $1,000 in the month of January gross, that would count as one of the 9 months in which they're permitted to work without affecting their Social Security disability payments. The dollar amount does not have to be consecutive, meaning we are in January. Let's say they made $1,000. February, they made $1,000. That's 2 months. March, they made $800. 800 is less than 970, so therefore it does not count toward the 9 that they're allowed to make for the trial work months. So even though 3 months have went by, only 2 of them count. Then let's say, just for simple math, the rest of the months they've made $5,000. Once we get to 9, we're going to say they have 9 months of using toward the trial work month period. Then we're going to give them 2 more what we call grace payments. And then it starts something what we call SGA. We got all kinds of alphabet soup here. Substantial gainful activity. So that's another topic there, but I just want to pause to make sure that we're all on the same page here.
So that 9 months is important. That's a good distinction about it not being consecutive months.
Yes, very much so. And so once we get to the 9 months and then we give them that grace month period of time, then we have what we call substantial gainful activity. And then so last year in 2021, if an individual was to earn, the $1,310 last year, in 2022, they're allowed to make $1,350 gross. Before we have to say that check is not due or payable to that person. If they are still over that dollar amount, that's when they will not receive any more checks for that time period. Now, there is something else part of this work incentive that if an individual were to recontact Social Security and they have the same disabling condition as they had prior to those checks stopping, within 5 years, they can have those checks started up again. Now, there's a review in which we're going to do, but the point that I'm making is that there's plenty of time for an individual to work trial work month, $970, 9 different months, then the SGA, substantial gainful activity, $1,350 gross, before we're going to stop the checks. And then even if they do have their checks stopped for the same medical condition, all right, and they contact us within 5 years, we can have those checks started again.
And as far as supplemental security income goes, what is that amount now? And is there anything special about SSI that you want to point out?
Sure. So the SSI Supplemental Security Income, it's a federal needs-based program for people that are blind, disabled, or over the age of 65 with limited income, limited resources. So that's the program that's potentially paying, low birth weight infants, grade school age children, high school children, adults that may not have had enough of a work history to potentially qualify for Social Security disability benefits. In 2021, that amount was $794 for an individual. It's jumped to $841 in 2022. We also have a couples rate, a couples amount. Last year in 2021, for couples, that amount was $1,191. It's gone up to $1,261. The main thing to really be aware of with SSI, since it is a needs-based program, you have to make sure that you're reporting any changes or alterations to your income, your resources, your living arrangements, your marital situation, because all those things can potentially impact your check. It could cause you to get potentially more money if you have, if your spouse's financial situations change, if your financial situations change, maybe now you're going to get maybe more money or the full SSI check if you weren't before because of those resources.
Okay, got it. Well, thank you. This has been extremely helpful. If someone wants to learn more, where should they go? What would you have them do?
We're going to, if possible, and we understand that this may not be applicable to everybody, but if you can, just check out our website, socialsecurity.gov. A person can apply for most of our benefits, retirements, spousal, disability, Medicare. Certain situations, people can apply for SSI as well online. All of our pamphlets and brochures, fact sheets can be found on our website in PDF format. You can create a My Social Security account on our website, socialsecurity.gov/my account. So the website is one of the first places that we would really want to point people in that direction to go to.
Mm-hmm. And what if someone's not good on the computer?
Then they have the option of calling our 800 number, which is 1-800-772-1213. They can call between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. For someone to reach them. That phone number also has 24/7, which there's certain information which we can give just by audio. And so sometimes you don't need to wait to speak to someone. You just need to listen and hit the right prompt, if that's their option. Again, you've noticed I've used the word option because some people, they're comfortable with using the computer, or they have a loved one who says, Mom, Dad, and Uncle, I'll take care of that for you. And then some people say, I like to hear a voice. And so they wish they can call that 800 number, 1-800-772-1213 between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. And I just want to make sure I give the listening audience a little reason as to say, why are they bringing up 2021 when we're in 2022? Because we do reviews from the prior year. And so if someone worked in 2021, we're going to want to look at their wages in the past. And so that way, I'm telling people to keep those electronic pay stubs, or if you're still getting a paper stub, hold on to that just to be certain. So that way we can match up those numbers that we just mentioned to you with what your actual earnings are. So that's why we're giving 2021 as well as 2022.
Excellent. Well, Robert, Brandon, this has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for being here today. Look forward to our next discussion.
It's our pleasure. We thank you for having us.
Thank you, ma'am.
A transcript of today's episode is available at ood.ohio.gov/podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a rating and review. We're on social media at Ohio OOD. Do you have a disability? Do you want a job? We can help. oodworks.com.